12. That is the number. 12 cash deposits over 15 months, starting in April 2018, ending 10 days before Epstein died. Her bank flagged every single one. Federal investigators had those records since 2019. They never asked her about it. Not once. For 6 years. Tomorrow that changes. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Washington, D.C., Tova Noel sits before Congress, under oath, for the first time. And the first question they are going to ask her is the one nobody has asked for 6 years. Who paid you? Her name is Tova Noel. She was 15 feet from Epstein's cell the night he died. She did not check on him for 8 hours. She falsified the records to say she did. She searched his name online 40 minutes before his body was found. And someone was paying her in cash for 15 months while she watched over the most dangerous prisoner in America. Tomorrow, we may finally find out who. Before we break down every question Congress will ask tomorrow, every document they have, and what her answers could mean for the most mysterious death in American legal history, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell. Tomorrow, when Tova Noel testifies, this channel will be the first to cover what she says and what it means. To understand why tomorrow matters so much, you need to understand exactly who Tova Noel is and what the documented record shows about her actions on the night of August 9th and the morning of August 10th, 2019. Tova Noel was an Army veteran. Before working at Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, she had worked as a mail carrier. She became a federal correctional officer at the Bureau of Prisons. She was assigned to the Special Housing Unit at MCC New York, the most secure, most closely monitored unit in the facility, the unit where the highest risk inmates were held, the unit where Jeffrey Epstein was being held while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. On the night of August 9th, 2019, Noel and her colleague Michael Thomas were the two correctional officers assigned to monitor the Special Housing Unit. Their job was straightforward. Check on every inmate every 30 minutes. Walk the rounds. Document what they saw. What happened instead is what Congress has been building toward for months. According to federal prosecutors, Noel and Thomas spent substantial portions of their 8-hour shift browsing the internet, moving around the common area, sleeping. They did not conduct any required prisoner count from approximately 10:30 p.m. on August 9th until 6:30 a.m. on August 10th. 8 hours. Not one round. Not one check. And in the round sheet, the official document that records whether checks were conducted, both guards certified that they had been made. They signed their names to documents stating they had done their jobs. They had not done their jobs. That is not a theory. That is the documented finding of federal prosecutors confirmed by the Department of Justice Inspector General and acknowledged by both guards themselves. But what the 3 million documents released in January 2026 revealed goes far beyond missed rounds and falsified records. It goes to something that investigators had in their possession since 2019 and never pursued. 12 cash deposits. From April 2018 to July 30th, 2019. 15 months of suspicious cash payments flowing into Tova Noel's bank accounts. The final deposit was made on July 30th, 2019, 10 days before Epstein's body was found. Her bank flagged every one of those deposits. The bank records were in federal investigators' files. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer confirmed this week that investigators never asked her about the money, not in the criminal proceedings, not in the Inspector General investigation, not in any documented interview. For 6 years. That is the question that sits at the center of tomorrow's testimony. Who was paying Tova Noel for 15 months in cash, while she was assigned to monitor the most high-profile federal prisoner in America? Now let's look at what else the documents revealed about that night. Because the cash deposits are not the only thing that has never been explained. At 5:42 a.m. on August 10th, Tova Noel sat at a prison computer and searched the term latest on Epstein in jail. At 5:52 a.m., she searched it again. 40 minutes later, her colleague, Michael Thomas, went to deliver Epstein's breakfast. He found him unresponsive, hanging off the side of his bunk. Noel was asked about those searches during a 2021 interview with the DOJ Inspector General's office. She said she did not remember doing that. She suggested the web page may have loaded automatically when the computer turned on. The records show 2 separate active searches at 2 separate times. 5:42 a.m., 5:52 a.m. Not a web page that loaded automatically. 2 deliberate searches for the latest news on a specific prisoner. 40 minutes before that prisoner was found dead. Now let's talk about the figure in orange, because this is the detail that no official investigation ever mentioned. At 10:39 p.m., on August 9th, a figure appeared on the staircase leading to Epstein's locked housing tier, an orange-colored shape, moving upward, toward his cell. CBS News analysts who reviewed the surveillance footage said the movement was more consistent with an inmate or someone wearing an orange prison uniform than a corrections officer. The FBI's internal memorandum described the figure as possibly an inmate. The DOJ Office of Inspector General said it may have been a corrections officer carrying orange linen. Attorney General William Barr stated publicly that no one had entered Epstein's housing tier the night of his death. The official reviews of Epstein's death make no mention of the figure in orange. None. The figure has never been publicly identified. And after that figure appeared on the staircase at 10:39 p.m., the guards conducted no rounds for the rest of the night. 8 hours of silence. 8 hours during which whatever happened in that cell happened without a single documented check. The official ruling was suicide by hanging. Dr. Michael Baden, the prominent pathologist hired by Epstein's brother to observe the autopsy, disagreed. He said Epstein had 3 fractures on both sides of his larynx, rare in suicidal hangings, common in homicidal strangulation. He noted hemorrhages in Epstein's eyes, also more consistent with strangulation than hanging. The official investigation found no bruises on Epstein's body consistent with a struggle, which they noted would be expected if he had been strangled by another person. Both conclusions exist in the documented record. They do not agree. And an inmate, housed in the same unit, told the FBI he was awakened that morning by a loud commotion. He heard officers shouting, "Breathe, breathe." Then he heard an officer say, "Dudes, you killed that dude." He said a female guard replied, "If he is dead, we are going to cover it up, and he is going to have an alibi." My officers. That account is in the FBI files released in January 2026. It was not in any official report. Now, here is what Ghislaine Maxwell told the Department of Justice when they asked her directly whether she believed Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. She said 4 words: "I do not believe. No." The woman who ran his operation for decades. Who knows more about his network than anyone alive outside of Epstein himself? Looked investigators in the eye and said she does not believe the official account. Now let's talk about what Congress is specifically investigating and why tomorrow is so important. The letter Chairman Comer sent to Tova Noel on March 13, 2026, cited 5 areas of investigation. The first is sex trafficking networks and how Epstein and Maxwell operated them. The second is the institutions and individuals who facilitated their activities. The third is the failures of law enforcement to effectively combat them. The fourth is how Epstein and Maxwell sought to curry favor and exercise influence to protect their illegal activities. The fifth is potential violations of ethics rules related to elected officials. Tova Noel is being called not just as a witness to a prison death. She is being called as a witness to a broader investigation into how Epstein operated and how the institutions around him failed. Comer has been direct about what happens if she does not appear tomorrow. He said he will subpoena her, because they have a lot of questions to ask. Now let's break down exactly what those questions will be. The first question is about the money. 12 cash deposits over 15 months. The last one 10 days before Epstein died. Her bank flagged everyone. Who was paying her? For what? Why in cash? Why did the payments begin in April 2018 and continue until 10 days before his death? Is there any connection between those payments and her assignment to monitor Epstein? Federal investigators had those records since 2019 and never asked. Tomorrow, they will ask. The second question is about the searches. At 5:42 a.m., you searched latest on Epstein in jail. At 5:52 a.m., you searched it again. You told the Inspector General in 2021 you did not remember doing that. The records show you did. What were you looking for? Were you checking to see if news had broken about something that happened in his cell that night? Were you checking to see if his death had been reported yet? What were you looking for at 5:42 in the morning, 40 minutes before his body was found? The third question is about the figure in orange. At 10:39 p.m., surveillance footage shows a figure moving up the staircase toward Epstein's locked tier. No official report ever mentioned this figure. Attorney General Barr said no one entered that tier. The footage suggests otherwise. Do you know who that figure was? Did anyone enter the tier that night outside of normal procedures? Did you see anything unusual between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m.? Did you hear anything? The fourth question is about the night itself. You told investigators you believe you were the last person to see Epstein alive. When did you last see him? What was his condition? Why did you not conduct any rounds for 8 hours? Was that decision made by you alone? Did anyone instruct you not to check on Epstein that night? Were you told anything about Epstein's status before your shift began? The fifth question is about the cover-up allegation. An inmate housed in the same unit told the FBI he heard a female guard say, "If he is dead, we are going to cover it up." Are you that guard? Did you make that statement? Did any conversation about covering up Epstein's death take place in the hours after his body was found? What happened in that unit between 6:30 a.m. and the time investigators arrived? These are the questions that have gone unanswered for 6 years. Tomorrow, Tova Noel will sit before Congress and either answer them or refuse to answer them. Both outcomes tell us something. If she answers, the committee will have her statements on the record for the first time. Statements that can be compared to what she told the Inspector General in 2021. Statements that can be compared to the bank records. Statements that can be compared to the surveillance footage. Any inconsistency between what she says tomorrow and what the documents show becomes the foundation for further investigation. If she refuses to answer by invoking her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, that decision itself is documented. And Chairman Comer has already said he will subpoena her if she does not appear. A subpoena cannot be ignored without legal consequences. Either way, tomorrow moves this investigation forward. Now, let's look at the broader picture of what the House Oversight Committee has been building toward. To date, the committee has conducted interviews with former Attorney General Bill Barr, former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, the man who negotiated the 2008 secret deal that buried a 60-count federal indictment against Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, who told investigators she does not believe Epstein died by suicide, Les Wexner, who gave Epstein full power of attorney over his entire fortune, former President Bill Clinton, who flew on Epstein's plane 26 times and visited the White House 17 times with Epstein, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and Richard Kahn, Epstein's accountant. The committee is also seeking interviews with Bill Gates, Catherine Ruemmler, Leon Black, Leslie Groff, Sarah Kellen, Ted Waite, and Doug Band. Tova Noel is the first person connected directly to the circumstances of Epstein's death to testify before this committee. She is not a billionaire. She is not a politician. She is not a lawyer or an accountant. She is a former Army veteran who became a mail carrier and then a prison guard. And she is the person who was 15 feet from Jeffrey Epstein's cell on the night he died, who did not check on him for 8 hours, who searched his name online 40 minutes before his body was found, who received 12 suspicious cash deposits over 15 months, whose charges were dropped, who has never been asked about the money. Until tomorrow. Step back from the individual details. Look at the whole shape of what the documented record shows about that night. A man facing decades in prison for sex trafficking, the most powerful people in America, died in federal custody. The guards assigned to watch him did not watch him. The records were falsified to say they had. A figure appeared on the staircase to his cell at 10:39 p.m., and no official report ever mentioned it. The noose recovered at the scene was not the ligature used in his death. The pathologist said the bone fractures were more consistent with homicide than suicide. The guard on duty received 12 suspicious cash deposits over 15 months. The last one 10 days before he died. Investigators had those records. They never asked. And Ghislaine Maxwell told federal investigators she does not believe it was suicide. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Washington, D.C., Tova Noel will answer questions under oath for the first time. Whether she answers them fully partially or invokes her right to silence tomorrow represents the most significant public step toward accountability for the circumstances of Epstein's death since his body was found in 2019. The victims of Jeffrey Epstein spent years waiting for a trial that never happened. They deserve to know what happened in that cell. They deserve to know who paid Tova Noel. They deserve to know what that figure in orange was doing on that staircase at 10:39 p.m. They deserve answers. Tomorrow, we may get some of them. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Tomorrow, when Tova Noel testifies, we will be the first to cover what she says, what she refuses to say, and what it means for this investigation. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Tova Noel will answer the questions tomorrow? Do you believe the 12 cash deposits are connected to what happened in that cell? And do you believe that, after 6 years of silence, tomorrow will finally change something? Because the truth about what happened to Jeffrey Epstein deserves more than falsified records and unanswered questions. It deserves exactly what happens tomorrow. Someone sitting in a room, under oath, and answering